Hi there, my name is Sam. In this video, we are going to go over Whitespark's 2026 local search ranking factors. This is probably my favorite piece of local SEO content that gets put out. It's done obviously by Whitespark. Darren Shaw is the guy that kind of heads this up and puts this all together. It's a very cool document. It gives some of the best insight across the industry as to what's working currently from a local search perspective. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of walk through this, pull out what stuck out to Darren, things that stick out to me. I'll probably make subsequent videos that then dive deeper into the specific like local pack ranking factors, the AI search visibility ranking factors, very interesting. Obviously that's a whole new frontier here. I wanted to go through this. First, what it is. So it's a giant survey that they send out to 47 of the best and brightest local search experts. So these are people who are in the field doing it day in and day out, and the things that they are seeing making the biggest impact in local SEO. It's a 2-hour survey. They rank a ton of factors, 187 factors, and then they're just ranking it of like, hey, does this have an impact or does this not have an impact? Then they compile all that together, and then all of those ranking factors get a score. And so this is not data from Google or Google's algorithm or anything like that. It's just what a bunch of people who know what they're doing are saying that this is what we see making the biggest impact. So it's really cool insight. We're gonna kind of look at the ranking factor groups quickly, then dive into some of the things that stuck out most, and then we'll do subsequent videos that dive deeper into each of the factors and areas there. But so the ranking factor groups, this is how they set it up. So your Google Business Profile signals, so that's going to be just the Google Business Profile, how it's filled out. How close a search is to the address listed, what categories you have listed, keyword in the business name, services that you have listed there. On-page signals, this will be on your website. So keywords in the title tag, domain authority, presence of name, address, phone number, citation data on the site. Review signals, so Google Business Profile reviews, third-party reviews, how many reviews you have, how often you're getting them, things like that. Link signals, this is going to get into backlinks, internal linking, things like that there. Behavioral signals, these would be how people interact with your site or profiles. And so click-through rate, are they looking at pictures on your Google Business Profile? Are they clicking the call in the Google Business Profile, get directions? How long are they spending on the site, things like that. Citation signals, name, address, phone number, Google Business Profile, Apple Maps, Yelp, Bing, all of the different citations, and how big of an impact is that happening. Personalization signals, so this is going to be stuff that we can't really control. It's just my own search history, where I'm searching from, what device I'm searching on, and then social signals, so Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, etc. Follower count, engagement, quality of post. Does that have an impact on local SEO? So those are the main categories. So then they did a breakdown here of what seems to carry the most weight, and it's broken down by local pack / maps. So that's your Google Maps listing. Local organic results. So this would be your website, but for local results. So you have the map pack, and then you have the traditional organic results. And then AI search visibility. So ChatGPT, Gemini, AI overviews, things like that. So there's things quickly, we're kind of looking at like the top 3 here, or what sticks out. Local map pack, not surprisingly, the Google Business Profile is going to carry about 1/3 of the weight there. And then reviews, well, that's not technically they're split up there, but if you were to combine your Google Business Profile reviews and the Google Business Profile, and then that's going to give you, half of the impact right there. Not shocking. It is the Google Business Profile that's showing up there. Those are obviously important. Then on-page signals would be sort of the last one. So those are not the last one, but kind of top 3 there. Compare that to the local organic. So this is going to be the website. So that in the traditional search results, right below the map pack, number 1 is going to be the on-page signals. So that's going to be your title tag, maybe a meta description, but that can impact it. Title tag, headers, content on the page, is it user friendly and whatnot. Then link signals, so that's going to be your link building there. That's going to take up over 50% of the impact there. Behavioral signals, how are people interacting on the page? If they just come to your page and leave right away, that typically isn't going to be a super great sign. We want them interacting. We'd like them to stay. And there's that. And then the AI search visibility. So this is obviously very new, and it's pretty. One of the things that sticks out here is you have on-page signals that are weighted higher, and so that hits on both on-page signals if you're looking kind of across all three. Number one, number three for the local map pack ranking. So that one is pretty consistent there. That's the only one I believe that's there. The next one would be reviews. And so like if you were like, hey, what can I do to make the biggest bang for my buck across all of these? Probably on page followed by reviews. And of course the Google Business Profile for the local results there. Another thing that's interesting is like once you get past that on page, like all of these are we're pretty close, 16%, 13, 12, 9. Some of that says like it's just sort of everything, which does kind of seem to be the case in AI search. Like you just want to have good stuff all over the place, and that's going to give you a better chance of showing up. But so that's there. So next here on the report, the group weighting changes over time. I'm going to move my face over here. So what this is looking at how have these kind of 8 categories changed over time. And he went back to 2018, so we have 18, 20, 21, 23, 26, just to see fluctuations. Google Business Pro, and this was for the local map pack results, and so it's going up to this one, your Google Business Profile, local Google Map Pack. Google Business Profile signals have increased, from over time. Actually, went down from a couple of years ago. Review signals have steadily increased. That's not shocking. That seems to be pretty consistent. On page, roughly the same from when it started, a little drop from the most recent one. Link signals have consistently decreased. That's kind of interesting. Obviously a hot topic in the SEO world. Behavioral signals, relatively the same. Citation signals have decreased for the map pack. These do seem to increase on the AI visibility report though. Personalization, roughly the same. And then social signals they added back in there. So just interesting to note. What's new for 2026? We're gonna, he goes through, they're looking at AI search visibility is the big new thing. Then he's looking at, they're adding there are 47 new factors that were added. We're not going to go through all of those. Well, actually, we'll look at 2 of them. So what this is looking at is new factors that were added. And then, if this is number 5 here, that's for the map pack, was the 5th most influential thing. So these would be new things that are added that seem to have a really big impact. So one is the business is open at time of search. So in your Google Business Profile, the business hours has a really notable impact. And that's something that we weren't at least looking at, or this report wasn't looking at previously. Addresses, and then another one up here that ranks really highly, number 7, addresses showing on the Google Business Profile. This really is, when you have a Google Business Profile, you can show your address, or you can be a service area business that would not be listing the address. When your address is showing, that does seem to help you. So there's that. Look at this one, local organic, keywords and anchor text and internal links. That's not terribly shocking. AI search, scannable content, that's fine. We're going to leave that there. Conversion, bunch of NA there. Okay, we're going to leave out of that. Those are just new factors. 8 new negative suspension risk factors. So these would be things that are new that you want to avoid. There's nothing in the top 20 here, so we're gonna move on from that. This is the last section here that we'll touch on for this video. So these are observations. These are Darren's observations. So these were just stuff after going through all the data that stuck out to him. 1, business is open at time of search. These are new factors. We had just touched on this one, but having your business hours listed and then being open when someone is searching really seems to matter. And he has I'm not going to read through this whole thing here. Right here though. So it's number 5 in terms of ranking impact, so really matters. And then his note here, which I just thought was interesting, and I've seen it for my own clients, but you can watch it happen in real time. When your business is open, you can be ranking number 1. Say you're ranking really well there, and then 60 minutes before you close, you start to drop off, and then you're actually closed. You'll be displaced by businesses that are open. There's one client I'm thinking of off the top of my head that is exactly what happens. When they're open, they are ranking in the number 1 spot, and when they close, they drop down to number 4, and that's pretty consistently every day. So just interesting to note, but it makes sense. Like businesses would want to show, Google would want to show users businesses that are open. He has some more notes here, but that one's interesting. Address is showing in the Google business profile. This one, basically, if your address is showing as opposed to just a service area business, that does seem to have a ranking impact. It's not shocking to me. He has, his thoughts here I think are interesting. But at the end of the day, it's, hey, if we're trying to show up, having an address helps. And so whatever we can do to get an address, better that's going to be. Presence of predefined Google business services. This was number 22, so not like super highest ranking factor, but something that's up there, especially when they're looking at 187 or so. What this would just be is like when you are setting up your Google business profile and you have your services, or you can go in and add services, but there's predefined services that Google will prompt you with. Those have a ranking impact, and so basically you want to add as many of those as possible that you actually do, of course. So those would be new noteworthy factors. These were then things that increased from the last time that they did this. Keywords in your Google business profile services went up 75 spots, and so a big increase there. But that's just in your services having keywords. That's not shocking, but that matters. Proper hours set in Google business profile. This was addressed above up here, but having hours set matters. The more hours that we have open, the better typically that's going to have. In-store visits tracked by Android and Google. This one was a little interesting, moved up 32 spots. But basically, it would seem that when say Google is tracking you, or I think where this probably makes the most sense is if I pull up a business on Google Maps and get directions to it. Like that's a pretty clear signal of like, hey, that's a very positive engagement signal. This would be like, okay, they're tracking you to that location, which may just be the directions. It could just be if you have location devices on and more people are coming to there, that's going to matter. Quality of engagement signals on Google Business Profile. This went up 14 spots. This makes sense. It's users that are engaging with your profile. So they go to your profile, and if they're going to the website from it, or if they're calling or requesting directions, that's all positive signals that are sending to Google. The more that you have of that, the better. That all makes sense. This is where like adding images and getting reviews and adding posts can all help, because that's other stuff that just people can engage with. Last thing here would be factors that decreased in importance. So these are things that people are saying don't matter as much as they used to matter. This one went down 65 spots. Internal links from the Google Business Profile landing page to other pages on your website. So on your Google Business Profile, you can add a link to your website, and that would be the Google Business Profile landing page, wherever you're taking people to. And on that page really matters. Like you want that page well optimized. You want to be linking to that page internally and even externally, building links to that page. But what this is saying is that on that landing page, are you linking out to other pages on your website? It's not bad to do that, but they're seeing that as mattering less. Linking out to authority. This is the next one. Linking out to authority, topically relevant sites. So the example that he gives here is on your key landing page. We're going to assume this is like the Google Business Profile landing page. If there's a water tank repair, is linking to the U.S. Department of Energy's hot water heaters page. It's basically like having a good citation on your page where you're referencing an authoritative site. Probably, if it makes sense to do it, it's good to add, but it's really not, doesn't seem to be a huge ranking factor. And then the last one, this one is interesting to me, the volume of quality content on service pages. And so everybody has experienced this, but like the recipe blogs where there's 1 million words just to get to the recipe. And and that's super inconvenient, and it's not a good user experience, but that was what was working. Like, you wanted a lot of content on pages because Google was going to rank you higher. That seems to be shifting. So on like your location pages, your service pages, it's less about getting tons of content there, and it is more about having good, clear content. Just get right to the point. I think that's a great shift because it's more user-friendly. I would say one of the things that we would do is go look at what pages are ranking, and if all the pages that are ranking have 10,000, not 10,000, have 1,000 words of content or 500 words of content, you probably want to be in that ballpark. And so you can use kind of reverse engineering what you're seeing to influence that. I said that was gonna be the last one. One more here I want to touch on, but citations are back. This from the map pack itself seems to be decreasing, but from the AI search visibility, and we'll do a video on just that, 3 of the top 5 of the AI search visibility were citation related. And so citations matter specifically in the AI search realm. From your Google business profile, I would say still good practice to have those. I mean, you just want to have consistent information about your business online, but it's not having as much of an impact as it once was. All right, I'm going to wrap this up here. Again, this was all from Whitespark and Darren Shaw, their 2026 local search ranking factors. We will make some other videos that dive deeper into the local pack specifically and the AI search visibility factors, and we'll see about these other ones maybe here. But I'm going to wrap this up here. Hope this was interesting to you, and hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks.